This is the complete aerial arsenal of the Luftwaffe. From the biplanes that began the Blitzkrieg to the first jets screaming across European skies, 48 aircraft that defined German air power in World War II. Every fighter that defended the Reich, every bomber that struck Allied cities, every transport that supplied the front lines. This is every production German aircraft used in the Second World War. Fighters. Let's begin with the fighters, the shield of the Reich. Messerschmitt Bf 109. The backbone. An astounding 33,984 produced from 1935 to 1945. Most manufactured fighter in history. Powered by liquid-cooled Daimler-Benz engines up to 1,800 horsepower. Armed with nose-mounted 20mm or 30mm cannon plus machine guns. Evolved through E-Series, F model, mass-produced G Gustav, and final K Kurfürst. Small, agile, deadly throughout the war despite being outclassed by late Allied fighters. Focke-Wulf FW190. The Würger or Shrike, 20,000 built from 1939 with powerful BMW 801 radial engine producing 1,700 horsepower. Armed with 4 20mm cannons and 2 machine guns. Devastating firepower. Unlike the delicate Bf-109, heavily armored with wide-track landing gear. Outclassed Spitfire Mark V when introduced in 1941. A-series fighter variants dominated, while D models featured inline engines for high altitude. Messerschmitt Bf-110. The Zerstörer, or Destroyer. Production reached 6,170 from 1936 to 1945. Twin Daimler-Benz engines, 2,200 horsepower combined. Heavy fighter armed with nose cannons and rear gunner. Struggled badly during Battle of Britain, suffering catastrophic losses. Found redemption as radar-equipped night fighter intercepting RAF bombers. Later models carried upward-firing Schräge-Musik cannons, attacking from below, unseen. Messerschmitt Me-210. A catastrophic failure. Only 352 completed before production halted in 1942. Twin engines, but suffered severe aerodynamic instability, causing fatal crashes. Tail design created uncontrollable oscillations. Pilots refused to fly it. Nearly destroyed Messerschmitt's reputation. Required complete redesign into Me-410. Represented engineering disaster that delayed Germany's heavy fighter program when desperately needed. Messerschmitt Me-410. The Hornisse, or Hornet. Production totaled 1,189 from 1942, finally delivering what Me-210 promised. Twin Daimler-Benz engines, 3,400 horsepower combined. Stability problems solved through lengthened fuselage. Armed with cannons and remote-controlled defensive barbettes. Served effectively in reconnaissance and bomber-destroyer roles. Some variants carried massive 50mm BK-5 cannons. Too late strategically, but technically competent. Messerschmitt Me-262. The Schwalbe, or Swallow. Approximately 1,400 produced from 1941. World's first operational jet fighter. Twin Junkers UMO 004 turbojets. 540 miles per hour top speed. Armed with 4 30mm cannons devastating against bombers. Engines lasted only 10 to 25 hours before failure. Untouchable by Allied piston fighters. Hitler's bomber variant insistence delayed fighter production. Revolutionary technology arrived too late to matter. Messerschmitt Me-163. The Comet. Production reached 370 rocket-powered interceptors. Walter rocket motor, 3,750 pounds thrust. Climbed to 30,000 feet in 3 minutes, reaching 596 miles per hour. Armed with 2 30mm cannons, but only 7 minutes powered flight. T-Stoff and C-Stoff fuel mixture dissolved human flesh on contact. Dozens died from leaks. Landed on skid, causing explosions. Incredibly dangerous to operate. Heinkel HE-162, the Volksjäger, or People's Fighter. Some 320 produced in 1944 to 1945. Single WW003 turbojet mounted atop fuselage. 520 miles per hour. Built primarily from wood to conserve metal. Designed for Hitler Youth pilots with minimal training. Desperate concept. Handling tricky with violent stall characteristics. Many crashed during training. Represented late war desperation, prioritizing quantity over survival. Heinkel HE-219, the Uhu, or Owl. Approximately 300 built, most sophisticated night fighter of the war. Twin Daimler-Benz engines, 3,500 horsepower combined. Armed with 6 cannons, including upward-firing Schrager-music. First operational aircraft with ejection seats. Advanced radar hunted RAF Mosquitoes effectively. Political infighting limited production. Some pilots claimed best night fighter of any nation. Insufficient numbers. Bombers and ground attack. Moving on to bombers and ground attack aircraft. Junkers Ju-88, the jack of all trades. An astounding 15,183 produced from 1936 to 1945. Most versatile Luftwaffe aircraft. Twin Junkers Umo engines, 2,600 horsepower combined. Fast bomber carrying 3,300 pounds at 290 miles per hour. Modified into dive bomber, torpedo bomber, night fighter, reconnaissance platform. Served effectively every role on all fronts. Adaptable, reliable, absolutely ubiquitous throughout the war. Junkers Ju-87, the notorious Stuka. Production reached 6,500 from 1935 to 1944. Single Junkers Umo engine, 1,400 horsepower. Distinctive inverted gull wings and fixed landing gear. Armed with two 37mm cannons or bombs up to 3,970 pounds. Jericho trumpet siren created terrifying wail during dives. Incredibly accurate but slow at 240 miles per hour. Devastating during blitzkrieg. Massacred during Battle of Britain. Heinkel He-111, primary medium bomber. Production totaled 5,656 from 1935 to 1944. Twin engines, 2,600 horsepower combined. Carried 4,400 pounds bombs. Distinctive, fully glazed greenhouse nose offering excellent visibility. Up to 7 defensive machine gun positions. Cruised at 227 miles per hour. Backbone during Battle of Britain, but suffered heavy losses. Later launched V-1 cruise missiles and served transport roles. Dornier DO-17, the Flying Pencil, some 2,139 built from 1934 to 1940. Twin BMW radial engines, 1,800 horsepower combined. Named for incredibly slim fuselage. Carried 2,200 pounds bombs at 255 miles per hour maximum. Originally designed as fast mail plane, relied on speed rather than armor for survival. Heavily used during Battle of Britain, but phased out as Ju-88 became available. Dornier DO-215, export variant of DO-17. Only 105 produced, initially for Sweden and Yugoslavia, but absorbed into Luftwaffe reconnaissance units. Twin Daimler-Benz engines improved performance over standard DO-17. Enhanced equipment for photographic reconnaissance with specialized cameras. Served primarily intelligence gathering rather than frontline bombing. Rarity made it valuable for specialized missions requiring better performance than DO-17 offered. Dornier DO-217. Larger evolution beyond Flying Pencil. Production reached 1,925 from 1938 to 1943. Twin BMW radials, 3,400 horsepower combined. Carried 8,800 pounds bombs, quadruple DO-17 capacity. Could carry Fritz X radio-guided bomb, first precision-guided munition. Famously sank Italian battleship Roma in 1943. Also served night fighter with radar and upward-firing cannons. Versatile and capable. Junkers Ju-188, the Retcher or Avenger. Some 1,234 produced from 1940 as improved Ju-88. Twin engines, 3,200 horsepower combined. Distinctive egg-shaped glazed cockpit providing excellent visibility. Superior high-altitude performance with pressurized cockpit. Carried 6,600 pounds bombs at 310 miles per hour. More powerful engines. Refined aerodynamics improved Ju-88 formula. Intended replacement but never fully succeeded. Effective but late. Heinkel He-177, the Greif or Griffin. Production totaled 1,169,000, Germany's only heavy bomber. 4 Daimler-Benz engines coupled in pairs appearing as 2, 5,600 horsepower combined. Complex arrangement caused frequent catastrophic fires, earning nickname Flaming Coffin. Carried 13,200 pounds bombs over 3,400-mile range. Fundamentally flawed design, but political pressure forced production. Unreliable throughout service. Disappointing strategic bomber. Henschel HS-129, the Panzerknacker or tank cracker. Some 865 built to destroy Soviet armor. Twin captured French Gnome-Rhone radials. 1,400 horsepower, underpowered. Heavily armored cockpit with 75mm thick windscreen protected pilot. Armed with 30mm cannons or massive 75mm BK 7.5 anti-tank gun under fuselage. Effective on Eastern Front, but hampered by weak engines limiting performance. Purpose-built ground attack specialist. Focke-Wulf FW190F/G. Ground attack variants of famous fighter. Sacrificed air combat capability for armor and bomb carrying in Schlachtflieger role. F model emphasized close support with bombs up to 1,100 pounds. G model long-range fighter bomber carried 2,200 pounds bombs with external tanks. Both retained cannon armament. Devastatingly effective against ground targets eastern and western fronts. Rugged and reliable throughout. Arado AR-234, the Blitz or Lightning. Approximately 210 produced from 1943. World's first operational jet bomber. Twin Junkers Jumo 004 turbojets, 460 miles per hour. Initially reconnaissance over England completely unmolested. No Allied fighter could catch it. Later B-model bomber carried 3,300 pounds bombs, armed with 2 rear-facing cannons. Revolutionary design, but arrived too late for strategic impact. Henschel HS-123. Obsolete biplane dive bomber. Some 250 built in 1935, already outdated by 1939. Single BMW radial, 880 horsepower. Fixed landing gear, open cockpit. Armed with machine guns and 990 pounds bombs. Despite archaic appearance, incredible ruggedness allowed operation from rough Eastern Front fields. Served surprisingly effectively as close support until 1944. Loved by ground troops for reliability. Focke-Wulf FW200, the Condor. Production reached 276 from 1937 to 1944. 4 BMW radials, 4,800 horsepower combined. Originally civilian airliner converted for maritime patrol. Churchill called it Scourge of the Atlantic, spotting convoys directing U-boat wolf packs. Carried bombs or missiles for anti-shipping. However, civilian airframe structurally weak, suffering frequent failures. Effective mission capability, but fragile construction. Transports. Next up, transport aircraft that kept the Wehrmacht supplied. Junkers Ju-52, Tante U or anti-Junkers. An impressive 4,845 produced from 1931 onwards. Distinctive corrugated metal skin with 3 radial engines, 1,800 horsepower combined. Carried 18 troops or 4,400 pounds cargo at slow 165 miles per hour. Dropped paratroopers on Crete, desperately supplied Stalingrad. Fixed landing gear, incredibly rugged. Slow but virtually indestructible, served reliably every theater throughout the entire war. Messerschmitt Me-323, the Gigant or Giant. Some 198 massive 6-engine transports produced from 1942. 6 Gnome-Rhone radials, 8,100 horsepower combined. Clamshell nose doors swallowed trucks, artillery, even light tanks. Carried 23,000 pounds cargo or 130 troops. Slow at 135 miles per hour and ungainly, extremely vulnerable to fighters. Many shot down over Mediterranean. Enormous capacity but dangerous vulnerability made losses heavy. Junkers Ju-290, powerful 4-engine long-range transport and maritime patrol. Production totaled 65 from 1942. 4 BMW radials, 6,600 horsepower combined. Intercontinental range over 3,700 miles. Some served maritime patrol, hunting Allied convoys, while others transported high-priority cargo. Developed from bomber concepts, reliable and capable but produced limited numbers. Some used for special long-range reconnaissance missions over Atlantic. Arado AR-232, the Tausendfüßler or millipede. Only 20 produced, featuring innovative multi-wheel undercarriage design. Twin BMW radials, 2,400 horsepower combined. Modern combat transport with revolutionary rear-loading ramp. Unusual undercarriage with 22 small wheels allowed operation from rough, unprepared airstrips. Carried 4,400 pounds cargo. Excellent design ahead of its time, but production priorities prevented mass manufacture. Junkers Ju-90, large 4-engine passenger airliner converted for military transport. Production totaled just 18 from 1937. 4 BMW radials, 3,200 horsepower combined. Originally civilian design for Lufthansa. Served transporting high-ranking officials and priority cargo. Precursor to Ju-290 maritime patrol aircraft. Limited production reflected specialized VIP transport role rather than design deficiencies. Comfortable and reliable for its mission. Reconnaissance. Continuing with reconnaissance aircraft, the eyes of the Wehrmacht. Fieseler Fi-156, the Storch or Stork. An incredible 2,867 produced from 1936 onwards. Single Argus engine, 240 horsepower. Remarkable STOL aircraft landing in under 20 meters thanks to full-span leading-edge slats and slotted flaps. Used by generals for battlefield observation. Cruised at only 80 miles per hour, but extremely short field performance invaluable. Famously rescued Mussolini from mountaintop. Liaison and observation duties throughout war. Focke-Wulf FW-189, the Uhu or Flying Eye. Production reached 864 from 1938. Twin Argus engines, 920 horsepower combined. Distinctive twin-boom design with central glazed gondola giving crew panoramic battlefield view. Nicknamed Flying Eye by ground forces. Proved essential tactical reconnaissance on Eastern Front despite appearing fragile. Armored nacelle protected crew. Surprisingly difficult to shoot down due to twin-boom layout redundancy. Henschel HS-126, parasol wing tactical observation aircraft. Some 600 produced from 1936. Single BMW radial, 850 horsepower. Served early campaigns spotting for artillery, directing panzer movements. 2-man crew with defensive rear gunner. Reliable but increasingly vulnerable to modern fighters. Gradually replaced by superior FW-189. Relegated to training and secondary duties by 1942 as frontline aircraft inadequate. Arado AR-196, standard shipboard reconnaissance seaplane. Production totaled 541 from 1937. Single BMW radial, 960 horsepower. Carried aboard major warships including Bismarck and Prinz Eugen. Launched via catapult to spot targets beyond horizon. 2-man crew. Surprisingly effective in combat, successfully engaging and destroying several Allied submarines and patrol vessels. Reliable, well liked by crews throughout service. Junkers Ju-86, originally medium bomber finding new purpose. Pressurized P variant developed for extreme high-altitude reconnaissance. Twin engines with pressurized cabin and incredibly long wings for thin air. Photographed England from altitudes unreachable by early fighters, above 40,000 feet. Only small numbers converted, but strategically valuable for intelligence gathering. Eventually countered by Spitfire high-altitude variants. Maritime patrol. Now let's look at maritime patrol aircraft. Hunters of the Atlantic. Bloom and Voss, BV-138, the Sea Rock or Sea Dragon. Production reached 297 from 1937, nicknamed Flying Shoe for unique shape. 3 diesel engines, 1,950 horsepower combined, unusual for aircraft. Tri-motor flying boat, vital for long-range maritime patrol and reconnaissance over Atlantic. Crew of 6, reliable and well-suited extended oceanic operations in harsh conditions. Diesel engines provided excellent fuel economy for patrol endurance. Dornier DO-24, highly effective tri-motor flying boat. Some 218 produced from 1937, originally for export. 3 BMW radials, 3,000 horsepower combined. Renowned for excellent seakeeping capability in rough seas. Served primarily search and rescue operations, saving downed airmen. Crew of 6. Reliability and ability operating rough seas made it invaluable throughout war. Could land and take off in challenging conditions other aircraft couldn't handle. Heinkel He-115, twin-engine floatplane torpedo bomber. Production totaled 138 from 1937. 2 BMW radials, 1,800 horsepower combined. Operated extensively coastal areas conducting torpedo attacks against Allied convoys, laying mines in British waters. Crew of 3. Twin float configuration provided stability but limited performance. Effective specialized maritime strike role but vulnerable to fighters. Served primarily northern waters and Mediterranean. Bloom and Voss, BV-222, the Viking or Viking. Only 13 colossal 6-engine flying boats produced from 1940. 6 BMW radials, 7,200 horsepower combined. Among largest flying boats built during war. Wingspan 150 feet. Served almost exclusively long-range maritime transport. Carried 92 troops or equivalent cargo over vast distances. Immense size allowed substantial payload across oceans. Too few built to significantly impact operations. Gliders. Moving to gliders, the Silent Assault Force. DFS-230, standard German assault glider. An impressive 1,600 produced from 1937. Carried 10 troops with equipment. Silent and deadly. Famously used landing atop Belgian fortress Eben Emael in 1940. Daring raid demonstrating tactical value, glider-borne assault breaching impregnable defenses. Towed by bombers or transports. Simple construction, reliable design. Also used supply missions Eastern Front and evacuating wounded. Gotha GO-242, large twin-boom transport glider. Production reached 1,528 from 1941. Unlike smaller DFS-230, designed to carry heavy supplies and vehicles to front lines. Carried 23 troops or cargo equivalent. Heavily used supply missions, particularly Eastern Front, before powered transports available. Twin-boom layout allowed rear loading. Many later fitted with engines, becoming GO-244 powered transport. Effective logistics solution. Messerschmitt ME-321, glider version of Gigant. Some 200 produced from 1941, designed to carry heavy equipment or 200 fully equipped soldiers. Wingspan 180 feet, immense size. Towing created problems, required 3 Bf-110 fighters tied together or specially developed Heinkel HE-111Z twin fuselage tug. Many later converted powered ME-323 transports. Represented extreme glider concept, barely practical to operate. Trainers. Next, the trainers that taught Luftwaffe pilots their craft. Bucher, BU-131. The famous Jungmann or young man. An astounding 5,000 produced from 1934. Two-seat biplane with single Hirth engine, 105 horsepower. Primary trainer exceptionally responsive, aerobatic capable, helped establish superb standards early Luftwaffe pilot training. Every pilot mastered basic flight this agile machine before advancing operational types. Forgiving handling characteristics ideal for students. Also widely exported pre-war. Bucher, BU-181, the Bestman. Production reached 3,400 from 1939. Two-seat low-wing monoplane with single Herth engine, 105 horsepower. Advanced trainer intended to teach modern fighter handling characteristics. Bridged gap between basic biplanes and high-performance combat aircraft. Reliable and forgiving, making ideal advanced training throughout war. Simple construction allowed mass production. Some used liaison courier roles. Arado, AR-96, standard advanced monoplane trainer. Some 2,891 produced from 1938. Two-seat low wing with single Argus engine, 465 horsepower. Prepared student pilots transition to operational fighters by replicating handling characteristics. Retractable landing gear, well-designed and popular with instructors. Played crucial role maintaining flow-trained pilots to combat units. Some variants equipped armament for weapon training. Heinkel Hay 72, the Cadet. Approximately 2,000 produced from 1933. Two-seat biplane with single Siemens engine, 150 horsepower. Primary trainer for reborn Luftwaffe in 1930s. Reliable and straightforward to fly. Introduced countless students military aviation before progressing demanding aircraft. Simple construction, easy maintenance. Eventually replaced by more modern BU-131, but served throughout war at secondary training schools. Focke-Wulf FW-44, the Stieglitz or Goldfinch. Some 1,700 produced from 1932. Two-seat biplane with single Siemens engine, 150 horsepower. Hugely successful primary trainer, popular and widely exported pre-war. Excellent handling characteristics, ideal teaching fundamental flying skills and basic aerobatics. Many future aces learned their trade this aircraft. Sports plane origins made it enjoyable to fly, building pilot confidence, early training. Siebel SI-204, light twin-engine aircraft. Production reached 1,216 from 1940. Twin Argus engines, 1,200 horsepower combined. Served dual roles, trainer and light transport. Used specifically training bomber crews, navigation and instrument flying, while also providing communications and staff transport capability. Five-seat cabin. Versatile and reliable, both roles throughout war. Some variants equipped defensive armament for crew gunnery training. Bucher, BU-133, the Jungmeister or Young Master. Some 250 produced from 1935. Single-seat biplane with single Siemens engine, 160 horsepower. Advanced aerobatic trainer, legendary for agility. Refined skills. Luftwaffe's most talented fighter pilots through demanding aerobatic training. Capable extreme maneuvers, preparing pilots for air combat demands. Competition aerobatic origins made it unmatched for advanced pilot development. Helicopters. Finally, helicopters, the rotary wing pioneers. Focke Achilles FA-223, the Draka or Dragon. Only 20 pioneering transport helicopters produced from 1940. Twin rotors on outriggers driven by single BMW radial, 1,000 horsepower. Demonstrated impressive lifting capability for the era, could carry artillery pieces. Side-by-side rotor configuration, innovative. Proved practical helicopter transport concept, though production limited technological challenges. Allied bombing destroying factories. Ahead of its time. Flettner FL-282, the Colibri or Hummingbird. Production totaled 24 from 1941. Groundbreaking reconnaissance helicopter utilizing Flettner intermeshing rotor system. Single BMW radial, 140 horsepower. Two rotors intermeshed at angle eliminating tail rotor need. Deployed warships for observation, providing rotating platform spotting beyond horizon. Compact design fitted ship storage. Innovative but remained experimental throughout war. Demonstrated helicopter naval applications potential. From the rugged Ju-52 dropping paratroopers over Crete to the revolutionary Me-262 screaming through Allied formations at 540 metathlon ph, German aviation tells a story of innovation, desperation, and engineering excellence. The Bf-109 and FW-190 defended the Reich with 54,000 fighters built between them. The versatile Ju-88 filled every role imaginable across all fronts with over 15,000 produced. Early designs like the Stuka terrorized enemies but proved vulnerable without air superiority. Late war jets demonstrated technological superiority that arrived too late to matter strategically. The He-177 bomber suffered catastrophic fires while the Me-163 rocket fighter dissolved its own pilots with corrosive fuel. Germany built remarkable aircraft with impressive specifications but ultimately couldn't overcome Allied numerical superiority, industrial might, and fuel shortages. Technical brilliance met strategic defeat. 48 aircraft that fought until the very end.